Welcome to Cult Fiction. We're talking today about Val Kilmer. Rest in peace, Mr. Kilmer. We're going to miss you. He passed away just recently, so this is going to be our tribute episode for him. We're going to do a mount. We're going to do an over under, and I just want to say I really liked Val Kilmer. I thought he was great, and we're going to start with Alex.
But so, yeah, I was like pretty bummed out to hear it. I remember all the stuff he did when I was younger and everything. But I think probably the movie that's almost universally praised for both him and his role and the movie itself was Tombstone, Doc Holliday, which is one of those movies and roles where you're like, he wasn't even nominated for an Academy Award. You look back
That's a
on
crime.
it.
That's a
That's
crime.
an absolute crime because, he really gave one of the best performances of the generation in that movie. Like, we still remember it, we still quote it. So probably all of us are going to pick Tombstone, so I have to do it as well. For my mount, also I'm going to put on Ghost in the Darkness. For me, it's one of the movies that I always thought was like, this movie didn't get the praise that it deserved, and he's great in it. Michael Douglas is great in it. And, it's like you look at the scores and everything on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's like 50 or 60. I'm like, no, man, it is better than that. And it deserves to be on my damn mount, rounding out the other two is like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which of course, if anybody who's seen it knows what amazing movie that is. And last but not least, Heat, because it's an awesome movie.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, so I've got I've got three of those movies on my mount, right?
Well, then it's an easy mount.
It's gonna be an easy mount.
Easy one, yeah.
Tombstone, absolutely. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, I think, was one of the defining roles, not just of his career, but like Alex said, of a generation. I mean, Tombstone was a near perfect movie, I think, and it has legs. Like, you can watch it again now and it holds up. So definitely Tombstone is at or near the top. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of those movies that was under the radar. Not a lot of people saw it. Robert Downey Jr. was in it before he was Iron Man, so it was one of the movies that kind of rehabilitated him and from his cocaine years, right? But it was a great movie. It was interesting and funny, and the plot was really good, and it was kind of self-deprecating. So if you haven't seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, honor Val Kilmer by watching that movie. Heat, I'm going to put on my mount because Heat, I thought, is one of the greatest movies of all time, and his role in that movie maybe was not as central as Pacino and De Niro, but he still added this kind of element of menace to the movie that I thought was really interesting. And then for my fourth movie, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to put Real Genius. I'm doing it. I'm putting the 80s comedy that Val Kilmer was in when he was very young. It's a silly movie. It's a stupid movie, but his character, there's something about his character in that movie that was just really, really likable.
Doesn't that end with like a bunch of popcorn or some shit like that?
There's some popcorn in it, yeah. They're making like a giant laser, and then hilarity ensues. So it's I'll throw an honorable mention out to a movie that I would put on my underrated. Probably not a lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have kind of made fun of it, but I thought his performance in it was excellent, and I thought the movie was actually better than a lot of people maybe remember it being, and that's Red Planet, where they're trapped on Mars with the killer robot. And there was parts of it that were kind of hokey, but I thought his performance in the movie was certainly the best part of it. So that's my mount. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Real Genius, Heat, Tombstone. Gus, let's go to you.
I'm going to echo a lot of what's already been said, but then I thought about a couple other things too. So, like, first off, Tombstone, super fantastic flick, plays a great role. You can't have the movie without him. I didn't go into like a deep dive, but there was a string of like Westerns around that, like,
right.
that time.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp came out, and yeah.
They were really good flicks. I wish they would like.
You're breaking up, Gus.
Yeah, I was like,
Those
that
are
was
all very
movies-
solid points,
the-
Gus. Those are all very
I
This
know,
solid
movie-
points.
Movies are so
Dude,
good they
bro.
crushed Gus's internet. Awesome.
Whatever.
I couldn't
So-
agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's insightful, my friend. Insightful.
Short.
He's thinking. Oh, there he is. Okay. Hey, can you hear us? Your internet shit to bed for a minute. So go back to the part where you were talking about Western.
Hey, Gus, you're right.
I can hear you guys. It was all
I think
like
maybe you need to go inside, close to your internet connection.
Go sit next to your router, bro.
not going inside. I'm not. I don't bocce. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm special guest. I got special guest privileges.
There you go. You are the special guest.
You
So
always
anyway,
have
you
special
guys-
privileges, Gus.
So, man, the internet is shitty. Damn.
Yeah. All right. It's better. So there you go. So you got Tombstone. What else you got?
All right, I got Tombstone. I got Heat. Fantastic flick.
Yep.
Great. Like multiple thrillers wrapped in a thriller and a heist flick. Right? And then I
Right.
saw this thing on Instagram, which automatically means a suspect, but that his agent didn't want him to take the role. There's like a monetary dispute, right? And so they negotiated a deal where on one of the movie posters, he was in between Pacino and De Niro. That like which I read the whole story and I was like,
Okay.
that's pretty believable. Like, which
Yeah.
you heckling me on that?
Yeah, that's
I could
Yeah.
no, I can
I
see
do
that.
remember the
I can see
poster.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
there was a poster where he was kind of like above the other two.
Right in the
It's
middle
like
of it.
the gun over his back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
And so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it was believable enough. Like there's nothing to gain by that story, right? So when he died, when I saw that he died, like at first I thought it was April Fool's, right? But whatever. And then I was just kind of struck by like, dude had been sick for a really long time, was still trying to make some movies, which like I read a thing that Tom Cruise had talked about how like dude couldn't even talk. Like dude's
Right.
making and talk. He'd had like 2 tracheotomies, some other things.
Didn't
Like-
they AI his voice in Maverick?
I don't know.
I don't know
Something
if
like
they.
that, yeah.
I don't know if they AI'd it. They might have like auto-tuned it or something like that. But he
Yeah.
did. I thought his role in Maverick was actually pretty damn cool. But yeah, that was his last
because
role.
he just typed into a computer, and the voice said something when he typed.
Right. Right.
Overall, really good
I can't
actor,
remember.
really good actor, and I'd like to see. I'm curious to check out. One, I want to rewatch Heart of Darkness because I read the book. I'm sure I saw the movie too. Like, it was like
Ghost in the Darkness. Yeah, that's
Ghost-
Ghost in the Darkness. Yeah, that was good.
I'm sure Heart of Darkness was great though.
dude, Heart of Darkness is great, bro.
It's a classic.
So you got Tombstone, Heat. What else you got?
That's it, man. It was
I
me.
thought you went
Nice.
digging in the crates and found some shit. You were like, I was gonna do this, and now I'm doing this.
Nah, man, that's it. I don't think I've seen the other stuff.
That's all right. That's all right.
You haven't seen
movies-
Ghost in the Darkness when it's the lions, bro?
I have when they fight the lions. Yeah, I've seen it, but like I want to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
worth
no.
rewatching.
Well, put it on the damn mount.
Oh,
Put it
okay.
on there.
You
There
win.
we go.
You
Two
know-
votes
Tombstone.
Ghost in the Darkness, people.
There you go. 2 votes for Ghost of the Darkness. Bueller, what do you got?
So first off, can we all agree that April 1st is the worst day for a celebrity to die?
Dude, it is the worst.
100%.
It is the
100%.
worst day to die.
Jubal was holding out for like 24 hours. He was like, nope.
Terrible.
I was like, this is April Fool's. He's not really dead, guys. He's gonna live forever in a computer. But I was wrong. He's gone.
Well, did he sell his rights to Disney? Maybe he will.
I hope so, man. I miss that guy already. Yeah. So what do you got? What do you got for your mount?
Well, it's kind of tough. I actually did a dive on his movie roles, and I was a little bummed out to find out that there are so many movies this man made that I've never even heard of. But like we discussed before the podcast started rolling, he was just cashing a paycheck, which a lot of guys do. I mean, Bruce Willis did it before his fate was
Right.
and
I mean,
you
if you
know,
look at De Niro's film
Oh,
list lately,
like
the
well,
last 10
No
years.
doubt.
like well,
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage.
Cage did it for a while before he got out of his debt. Like it happens. You know, a lot of actors do it for a lot of different reasons. But man, this guy's got a library of shit that I would probably never ever watch either. But the roles that he showed up in, uh, they meant something to our generation, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Tombstone being mentioned without question. Um, I don't know if anybody mentioned it or before the podcast before I got here about him laying on an ice block or a bed of ice during his like one of his final scenes to give off the idea that he was like, you know, basically dying. He was laying on ice to lower his body temperature and make him really uncomfortable, just to kind of get in the mode for acting out that scene. I mean, the guy was really into his role so much so that when he was in the Doors, he beat up his co-star and they told him to never talk about it. But he still punched her in the face and threw her on the ground when they cut her a check
Jesus.
for 25 grand. And you know, we're all finding out about that now because he's dead. So all these stories come out. But he
Brutal.
was in the moment. He was in the moment. All right. He was in the moment.
Unconfirmed rumor.
Yeah. Well,
That's
you know,
that's what Val Kilmer did, man. He got in the mode for a role and he was enjoyable in Tombstone. I put that on the mount. I would, and even though I make light of the situation with the Doors, honestly, when he got into the Jim Morrison role, it was good, dude.
I
He did
never
a good
did see the Doors. I was just not interested in. I've never been into the band or anything, so I was
dude.
just. Yeah.
He did a really fucking good job, and maybe I'll catch hell for this in the comments, but I think for the time when it came out, for the time when that movie happened, for what we were seeing in that era, he did a great job. Maybe today, maybe not so much. Maybe somebody else will do a much better job. But I think for the
mm,
time, the Doors, his role in the Doors was fantastic. Top Gun also has to be on there, and I'm really having a hard time, man. I know you guys got Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on there, and that movie was so outside of his wheelhouse
right.
and outside and Robert Downey Jr.'s, you know, comeback story as well. And I wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't for Alex. And damn, it was good.
Mm,
Damn, it was good. But Ghost in the Darkness has got a very special place with me as well. So since we can't have 5 for 4, I would have to take off Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in favor of the Doors and put Ghost in the Darkness on there with Tombstone. And Top Gun has to be there. There's no question about it. There can't be a question about Top Gun.
fair enough. All right. Eric, who has declared himself to not be really a Val Kilmer fan, you know,
So
just,
Top Gun, Willow, Tombstone, Heat. All right.
all right.
Well, I forgot about Heat. So
That's
that's the thing
right.
too.
What else
Like,
needs to be said?
All right.
so real quick, if I could rewind real quick with Heat, like I remember watching Heat when it came out and just being absolutely in love with it because I love Pacino and De Niro, and actually being bummed out when I watched that movie that Val Kilmer didn't get as much time on screen.
Right.
It wasn't about him, but it was Val fucking Kilmer, dude.
Right.
It was Iceman. Why isn't he getting the screen time? And I thought it was really good. You know, when he was dying at the end and he had to separate from his lady and all that shit. I know, spoiler,
You just
spoiler,
wrecked it for Eric.
spoiler. When he was dying you didn't watch Heat, bro? When he was dying at the end and he had to separate from his lady and like all that stuff, like I don't know, dude. Like he was underutilized in Heat. I understand why, but I didn't get
It was already a long movie, and you had a lot of star power in it. Like I get it,
yeah.
but for the time that he was on the screen, I thought he did a really damn good job.
So let me take off well shit. Let me go Heat, Top Gun, Ghost, and Tombstone. That'll be it. That's mine.
All right, all right.
That's it. No decision.
So I feel like Heat and Tombstone are locked in, right, for the final top 4.
Mhm.
Heat and Tombstone are locked in. So it's a discussion between Ghost in the Darkness, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and what else?
Gun.
Top Gun. I like I I like the Iceman character. I like his performance. I thought he was touching in Maverick, but I don't know that that role rises to the top for his career. Like as far as tickets sold, maybe, but you know, I don't know. I
That's
could
where
see
I'm
it.
at too. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Commercially,
Hey.
very successful role, but as far as acting chops are concerned, he certainly did a better job in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Whatever you say, Ice
Voice of Kit.
Man.
Right? So let's say Heat, Top Gun, or Heat, Tombstone. I'll go Top Gun if you go Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. How about that?
Throw it in the comments. Leave us a comment. What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
yeah. What do you guys think? So I would say that that's probably going to be our top four. Although, I mean, Ghost of the Darkness was great, but just nobody saw that movie, right? But then again, nobody saw Kiss Kiss Bang Bang either.
And they should.
It's hard. It's a hard call to make. We still have an over under to do.
Yep.
So let's go back. Let's go back to Alex. Let's get your over under on Val Kilmer movies.
so my underrated is Ghost in the Darkness.
Right?
Because yeah, that good, and literally everybody practically put it on a mountain. People said no, and but they're putting on Top Gun, right? So my overrated is Top Gun because, like, I actually rewatched Top Gun like a couple of years ago, and well, I get that at that moment in time in the '80s, you know, it's such a big deal. But as a movie, it doesn't really hold up like you might think it does
Right,
in your
right.
head.
Well,
Which happened a lot with '80s movies.
It's
Yeah.
a,
And
it's
I
a,
love
it's
the
a,
Oh,
80s movies.
it's a
But
gay
sometimes you just
volleyball
can't
movie
take the
about
80s
playing.
songs.
It's not a gay volleyball movie. Stop
It's a
it.
gay volleyball movie about playing.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of unintentional homoerotica in that movie. It's true.
They're
And nothing makes him
beautiful.
wrong with that.
They're beautiful
But there's a
men.
lot of it. Yeah.
Whatever. They're good looking men.
Well, now it's
Yeah.
on my underrated. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But I mean, Ghost of the Darkness, I do think is actually underrated because like the Rotten Tomatoes scored by like 50 and 60%. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Right.
And then Jubal took it off the mount because he's an ass.
True.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
gonna-
like literally right now,
I'm
somebody
gonna-
was like, "Oh, see, Ghost in the Darkness or Top Gun, the movie I just said shouldn't be on the mount. I'm going to put that one on the mount."
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't have a final say. But if I'm going to be an asshole, then I have to be an asshole to Joe too. So I'm going to put as my overrated. I'm going to put The Doors. Mostly because I hated the band, but also because I hated the band.
Never heard him.
I hate The Doors. I fucking hate The Doors. Fuck The Doors. So that's why that one
Fuck,
is
dude, are you guys
overrated.
serious right now?
Uh,
The Doors, bro?
I don't like The Doors at all. The Doors are terrible, and I'm not sure that was really
Doors.
Val Kilmer. It might have been his evil twin that did that movie.
Oh my god. dude.
For
Riders on the
my
Storm is phenomenal.
it's not for my underrated, as opposed to the overrated film called The Doors. My underrated is going to be Val Kilmer's very first movie, which was Top Secret, right? By the people who did the Naked Gun series. That movie was hilarious. It is still hilarious. And the fact that his very first movie, that Val Kilmer's first movie, was a comedy, and was a comedy that required that kind of timing and that kind of like ability to be funny and be the straight man. I think it showed off early that he's got good acting chops. So that's my picks for over under. Gus, do you have over unders or do you not care about that?
I kind of want to side with Alex just to jam you up.
My man.
Today,
My man.
today I'm siding with everything Alex said. Alex speaks for me just to jam you up. And that's all. That's my vote. Whatever.
All right.
Alex said.
So we got to put Ghost in the Darkness on the mount. So that means we're going to have to pull something else off. So it's going to be Tombstone, Heat, Ghost in the Darkness, and either Kiss Kiss Bang Bang or Top Gun. What's it going to be?
Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss, bang, bang. Yeah.
Okay,
Because-
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Because I'm going to do mine now, and overrated is going to be Top Gun.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. That's
So, and underrated is him as the voice of Kit in Knight Rider.
okay.
The one that came out in like 2007.
Okay, the remake of Knight Rider.
What, a
The
movie
remake
or a
of Knight
series?
Rider.
There was
Serious?
the remake of Knight Rider that like 17 people saw.
I
Yeah.
bet
I
it
was one of those
really
people.
good.
And I watched every episode.
All 12.
18, if I'm not mistaken. 18.
All 18 episodes of Knight Rider 2000.
Dude, fucking
Yeah.
Eric went digging, bro. Eric went digging.
Well done, sir. Well
Give
done. All
Eric the
right.
golden shovel for today.
That
Yeah.
is, you get the golden shovel today. Bueller, what do you got?
Again, dude, deep diving into his roles is crazy, and I had no idea that he was part of the critically acclaimed animated film by Pixar, Planes.
Oh, yeah.
I never watched it, not
Mhm.
once, but he was in it. And also something that has come up on this podcast, and now I'm being serious, and I'm surprised that like neither one of the brothers brought it up, because you guys have brought up this movie before, but this didn't come up at all in the discussion, was The Salton Sea.
Yeah.
I would have picked that for my underrated if Jubal hadn't screwed Ghost in the Darkness.
Got to jam me up. It's all right.
Yeah.
So when I saw that on his movieography, what the fuck would you call that?
Filmography. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a movie Gus should definitely see.
Bibliography.
Of all the movies Gus
Filmography.
hasn't seen,
I
that
got
he should
you.
see.
Eric, I got
Salt and
you.
Sea was good.
No, I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Okay, good. Good.
Oh, yeah.
I never saw that.
Oh,
So
okay.
his filmography is long, and there's so many things on there. I gotta say though, for underrated, because my girlfriend loves it, and I enjoyed it the 1.5 times I watched it. The Saint.
Yeah. Yeah. The Saint was pretty cool.
Yeah, the
I-
same
I
was
didn't-
entertaining.
I don't think it belongs on the mount. I just think it's underrated.
It's a good
That's
spy flick. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree that it was
I would
underrated.
never put that on the mount, but overrated, and this is only because of all the headlines that came out since he passed. Motherfucking Batman, bro. Like, why are you putting the guy who is remembered for
Being like
Top
the worst
Gun and
Batman.
Batman?
Right.
Right. I think
He's the worst
mostly
Batman, and you're bringing it up. Like, why
Yeah.
would you bring it up?
Yeah, why
he's
would you do
remembered
that?
for having nipples on the bat suit.
I
think that's
think
like
he
the
was. I
biggest
think he
thing.
was in the worst Batman movie,
Yeah.
but I don't think he was bad. I think he was actually probably the best Bruce Wayne. Maybe George Clooney might have actually been a good Bruce Wayne, but the movie was terrible. And
Right.
he was
It was terrible.
Batman.
I want to forget that it ever happened.
I
And
remember
so-
going and seeing the last Batman movie, that 97 one with George Clooney. And we went to Denny's afterwards, like we often do. And I went home and I remember throwing up. And it was probably the Denny's, but I was convinced it was the movie.
It could have been the movie.
I was
been
like,
the
no,
movie.
the movie
Could have been
fucking
a
made me
concoction
throw
of
up.
the two, just gelled it
Yeah.
into this like.
Right.
I'm
Poison.
personally, I'm dumbfounded at the idea that these news outlets, and they all copy and paste each other anyway. But
Right.
nobody in editing was like looking at these headlines going, actor in Top Gun and Batman dies. Like, you couldn't fucking throw.
You couldn't say
Tombstone
Willow.
or
You
Heat
couldn't
in there,
say
Willow.
Right.
like, yeah.
So many. That's what we do here too. There's so many other options. As we're presenting to you, the viewer, why the fuck would you pick Batman?
Right.
Jesus Christ.
It was not a good
You know what
movie.
they probably did? You know what the truth of the matter is? They probably went to his like Box Office Mojo and looked at the two movies that are his highest grossing.
Right.
And that was probably Maverick, Batman, and Top Gun. And so they were just like Top Gun and Batman. That's what he's known for.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And he might be,
Makes
he might
sense.
be.
Right.
But it's like, man, he did such cool shit. So
Honest to God, if you threw Val
Val
Kilmer,
Kilmer.
to me a week ago and were like, give me your top 3 movies, I forgot he was Batman.
yeah.
I would have said Tombstone, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and probably either Heat or The Saint, only because like I said, my girlfriend loves The Saint, and it would have come to mind because of that.
I would have said Ghost in the Darkness.
That's my fault.
So, yeah, the Saint like couldn't get out from under the shadow of like Mission Impossible, I think, at the
Yeah.
time. Because it had some similarities, I think, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
It was a good flick.
Mission
right.
Impossible, Ghost in the Darkness, pretty much similar. Yeah.
That's our Val Kilmer episode. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and rest in peace, sir. We're gonna miss you.
Not Eric. He's not going to miss him at all.